On August 21, 1986, an estimated 35,000 people were peacefully asleep in their homes in the northwest region of Cameroon when suddenly a massive amount of carbon dioxide gas, enough to fill up over 5 million balloons, was released from Lake Nyos. It flowed silently through the quiet village and into the bedrooms of unsuspecting villagers, where it proceeded to knock them all unconscious. Many never woke up again. While this may sound like the plot of a low-budget horror film, it's actually a terrifying true story that happened in Cameroon almost 40 years ago. But what really happened at Lake Nyos? And why is it still one of the deadliest disasters of all time? Hi everyone, this is the host and you're watching this channel. Join me today as we look at the horrifying events that unfolded at Lake Nyos on that fateful night in August and the strange science behind the tragedy. To understand what happened at Lake Nyos, we first need to take a closer look at the lake itself. Located high up in the Aku volcanic plain in the northwestern highlands of Cameroon, Lake Nyos is the second largest of 4 lakes in a chain known as the Lakes of Nyos. The area has a population of around 250,000 people who rely on the lake for both food and income. For centuries, the people of the area had lived alongside the lake with no problems until August 1986. Lake Nyos is an interesting geological feature. While it may appear to be your typical lake, in reality, it's a deep and dangerous abyss. At its greatest point, the lake is almost a mile deep. This is a lot deeper than most lakes and comparable to the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of the ocean. But there is one key difference between Lake Nyos and the ocean trench. There is a massive hole in the bottom of the lake leading down into the earth. This gaping hole is actually the entrance to a magma chamber below the lake, which contains molten rock heated by the Earth's core. At first glance, this may not seem like a big deal. After all, there are plenty of volcanoes and magma chambers around the world and they rarely make the news. However, things get a little more complicated considering the location of this particular magma chamber. Since the lake sits directly above it, sometimes gas from the magma chamber below the lake makes its way up through cracks in the earth and into the water. You see, when rock deep within the earth is heated to high temperatures, it causes minerals in the rock to break down and release gases trapped inside. In the case of Lake Nyos, these gases are mostly carbon dioxide, but they also include hydrogen sulfide, methane, and nitrogen. In small doses, these gases are not very dangerous. They can even be beneficial to aquatic life and humans alike. But sometimes the pressure from the magma chamber gets so great that it releases a huge amount of gas all at once. And when this happens, it can be deadly. In the months before the disaster, locals reported frequent earthquakes in the area and minor gas emissions from the lake. On August 21st, however, everything changed. That evening, heavy rain poured over the region, filling the cracks in the earth around the lake. As the rain continued late into the night, it built up pressure within the underground gas vents. Then just after midnight, the vents gave way and a massive amount of carbon dioxide gas was released. Scientists estimate that between 100 and 150 tons of carbon dioxide gas per second shot out of the lake and raced towards the nearby villages. To put this number into perspective, if you were to bring the same mass of air to a boiling point by heating it, you would have enough energy to power the United States for over 2 weeks. As the gas made its way to the nearest villages, it flowed under the doors of homes and through cracks in the walls, replacing oxygen in the air with carbon dioxide. People who were sleeping were awoken with a strange choking sensation. Some stumbled out of their homes to try and find fresh air, but they were too late. You see, carbon dioxide is a colorless and odorless gas, and it acts much faster than any other danger we might hear approaching. A person inhaling normal air has about 5 seconds to react to danger before they pass out. But after only 1 second of breathing carbon dioxide-filled air, the victim will fall unconscious. Within 30 seconds, the victim's lungs stop working altogether. In total, between 17 and 35,000 people lost their lives that night, making it one of the deadliest disasters in human history. But there was a much larger danger that could have resulted from this tragedy. Scientists soon realized that the massive amount of carbon dioxide gas released from Lake Nyos could have easily traveled across the border into Nigeria, killing hundreds of thousands of people. In fact, some scientists believe that the only thing that stopped the gas from traveling further is that the wind shifted directions right before the disaster. Had the winds been blowing in the opposite direction that night, many more lives would have been lost. In the aftermath of the disaster, surviving family members struggled to bury their loved ones. Many refused to let the bodies be buried since they believed that the spirits of the deceased would be angry and cause even more disasters. Roads were torn apart due to the force of the gas, and animals near the lake were found dead. As days turned into weeks, the local people noticed that fish were starting to disappear from the lake. Eventually, the carbon dioxide levels in the lake returned to normal and life began to return to the area around Lake Nyos. But the underwater ecosystem was completely destroyed and it still hasn't recovered. It's important to note that while carbon dioxide does play a vital role in our daily lives, large amounts of it can be extremely dangerous. Human beings can only tolerate carbon dioxide concentrations of up to 10,000 parts per million for about an hour without experiencing mild symptoms such as headaches, fatigue, and nausea. At 20,000 parts per million, we can only survive for 15 minutes before our central nervous systems are irreparably damaged. And at 40,000 parts per million, death occurs in just minutes. Strangely enough, this was not the first time something like this happened. Almost exactly 100 years before the 1986 tragedy, another disaster struck Lake Nyos. Historical records indicate that on August 21, 1888, a similar event occurred, killing around 37 people. After the 1986 tragedy, scientists worked quickly to prevent a similar disaster from happening again. They installed a system of pipes that run from the bottom of the lake to the surface, allowing excess carbon dioxide to escape from the depths of the lake without harming anyone. This system has been successful thus far, but scientists are still looking for other solutions. Some experts believe the best solution is to simply drain the lake and refill it with fresh water from the nearby river Benue. This would remove the carbon dioxide from the depths of the lake and allow a healthy ecosystem to return. However, doing this would displace thousands of people who live along the lake and depend on it for survival. Others argue that the best course of action is to keep the lake as it is now and continue monitoring the situation. With 1,800 people living less than 2 miles from the lake, draining it would not only displace those people but disrupt the livelihoods of thousands more who live downstream. Unfortunately, there is no easy answer here. Draining the lake would save many lives, but it would also cause widespread displacement and disrupt the lives of thousands of people. While many experts work to determine what the future holds for Lake Nyos, there is hope that the tragedy that unfolded on that one night in August 1986 will never happen again. But what do you think? Should the waters of Lake Nyos be drained to prevent future tragedies, or should the thousands of people living nearby be relocated? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to learn about more fascinating topics.